throughout the course of making our film, we wanted to really concentrate on keeping a good element of mystery going. Um, this was because it's quite typical of film noir to be very mysterious. You're not quite sure what's going on. So yeah, we really wanted to keep this element throughout our film, and some ways we did it were to use different sort of angles and blurs. For example, in this one you can't really see Jake very clearly. Also, this one is that shot of Rosie entering the house, so we wanted to keep it quite dark and mysterious. We also wanted to use reflections and sort of the lighting, like shadows, to make sort of dark and light. For example, this one coming off of Michael's face, it's sort of half dark, half light, which creates sort of two sides of the like his personality. We also had this one behind sort of the rippled glass, which creates a sense of obscurity. And we just wanted to keep this element throughout, just to make sure that it wasn't clear at all what was actually going to happen, and it creates a good sense of sort of uneasiness within the audience, especially through the canted angles as well. Continuing on with the mystery element and keeping it the whole way sort of through our movie, and also onto our my poster and my film review of our film. Going back to the bit that I've just mentioned of Michael, this is just a bit of him actually where you see his face half and half. So as you can see here, it's like half and half, which creates mystery and also two sides of his personality. And I wanted to continue this theme through onto my poster, especially because actually in my double page spread I've used the same image, but I'll explain in a bit why. Yeah, so we've got the sort of half of the two characters' faces, which it was my idea to use this just because it sort of splits the two up, and I like how I just like how it looks on the page, but also how it does link to our storyline as well with the whole mystery element, and also with my character in the back. I feel that having him there as well creates that typical love triangle. But again, I'll come on to talk about that in a minute. But it sort of adds to the mystery as well, because you're not quite without actually seeing the film, you're quite sort of unsure about who this character is, and especially as he's behind Rosie, because you guess that he's linked to her, but you're not quite sure in sort of what's like way that she is. And bringing this element to my film review as well, I wanted to use the same image just because if you saw the poster and in my opinion, I think the image is really effective with like the shadows and the dark lighting, like the shadow on the face, and having the split down the middle, it sort of splits the personality. There's two sides of the story and the character stories as well. And I thought that because I found the image so effective, putting it onto my film review, if you sort of saw this poster on the street and then you looked in a magazine, you were like, oh, I recognise that because that's the same poster. I recognise it. It is an image that sort of stands out. And yeah, I feel that having that actual poster image in my film review sort of adds links all three together really, really well. The next theme that I wanted to try and create, continue into my ancillary text from the film, was the love triangle, like the rule of three, between Scarlett and her boyfriend, and also with Jake, obviously, because it has to be three of them. You see the three of them in the same shot twice throughout the movie, and both times the boyfriend is sort of very intimidating towards Jake. Like in the first one, he's sort of saying, "Oh, what are you doing?" It's like, "What are you looking at?" And then in the next one, obviously, he holds him up against the lockers. So for the image, I wanted to create in my poster. I wanted to have the same effect, but I wanted to do it subtly. Like I didn't want to have him like there and sort of like be intimidating on the page, because obviously he wasn't one of the main characters. Therefore, I designed my poster so that the boyfriend was in the background and slightly sort of ghost-like, which created the feeling that he was there, but he wasn't there. If that makes sense, like he always knew what was going on. Scarlett couldn't hide anything from him. And the reason I put him behind Rosie is, or Scarlett as it were, is so that you get the feeling that like he's always looking over her shoulder, and so no matter what she does, she won't be able to get away with it. And this goes again with the atmosphere that we were sort of trying to create in our films, that the femme fatale is very sort of untrustworthy by obviously trying to go behind her boyfriend's back, but also untrustworthy to her dad. When, for example, the times where it's like she's late home and stuff like that, and she's like, stay out of my business, I'll stay out of yours, and various other points within the film. I wanted to include this image you can see in the bottom left of Jake on my poster, because I felt that this image was one of the best ones we actually took, like we actually shot, because it was slightly canted. You can't see, well, you can sort of, but it's slightly canted, and it just created a really good effect. And it's the point where he actually realises that it's his dad that has killed, no, it's Rosie's dad that has killed his dad, or Scarlett's dad. So I felt that this was quite an important image in our film itself. So to have it on the actual poster, not the poster, the film review, I felt it created a really good effect, because obviously without seeing the film you won't know that it's actually a real turning point of the film. So I wanted to include it in there just to add in a subtle hint that it's got something to possibly do with a phone, because you might read the review and obviously before you actually watch the film just to see what it's like. But yeah, just subtle hints that also links to our story, because in the film we have subtle hints as to what's sort of going on and who's done what and various things like that. So yeah, I just wanted to add a subtle hint into my review, that is, of what's actually sort of going on with this important image. As well as that, I wanted to link my poster with my review somehow, but not in the same way, like where you can see it has truth was in his heart, tragedy was on her mind. I didn't want to actually have that exact slogan on my poster, just because I don't know, I just didn't think something sort of that long would go well on the poster. I didn't think it would, on the review, I didn't think it would link very well. So I wanted to shorten it, but have the sort of same effect as it would. So I then chose to do tragedy, torment, truth. So without it actually saying truth was in his heart, tragedy was on her mind, it still sort of comes across as quite a dramatic, sort of catchy bit of text which could draw the audience in, as very much like it would if you saw the poster and saw that slogan. So yeah, I wanted to shorten it, but I still wanted it to have the same impact as the slogan does on the poster. Although I didn't actually use the same slogan as I've just mentioned on the review, I decided that I'd use the same title, well, obviously the same title, because you've got to have the same title of the film, but the same font, as well as obviously you can see unconventional, slightly italic, and also the same layout, like with the in the top left and truth sort of in the middle of the unconventional. And I decided I'd have the same layout because, again, like the image, when you actually see the text, it stays in your mind. So I wanted to move that onto the review, because when you saw the poster, if you were just flicking through a review and that sort of slight quick image came up of the unconventional truth, like in that layout as well, in the same text, so it's exactly the same, I think that your audience would notice it more if they're just flicking through and something pops up that they've actually got subliminally in the back of their mind. So yeah, I thought that it would be a very good idea to use the same layout, font and colouring for the text. The only thing I did change was, as you can see, the and truth is in white on the poster and black on the review, but that's only because I had to change it, otherwise you wouldn't have been able to see it on the white background. So I covered it up for the previous bit of this question, because obviously I was focusing more on my own poster and review instead of the other one. I did also include LA Confidential review on my double page spread, and I did it like quite similar, like how I had release certificate, although I put the certificate at the bottom and like the running time and stuff like that. But throughout the whole of my review, I wanted to keep the fonts and text the same, so it looked, for one, it looked professional, and two, it looks like it's like the same from the same thing. Because if I had, say, this here, and then I had on this one I had different font, different text, and different colours, then it would look a bit funny in my personal opinion. But because I personally just think it would look a little bit stupid. So with this, I used a quite basic font. I think it was called Geisha, and I use this throughout my thing, other than the Unconventional Truth title. So in a way, the Unconventional Truth stands out more because it's not in this font. And although this font isn't exactly the same, it is very similar to what we used in our as our titles. Right, if they come up. 1 second. Yeah, as it's a very similar font to what we use in our titles. So although it's very subtle and it's not going to be, people aren't going to see this and be like, oh, I've seen that review. It's just little things like this that I think keeping it the same throughout all formats of the film and the advertising and stuff like that sort of gives it a much more professional look, as it were. And yeah, so just in conclusion, I think the fonts and stuff from the credits and with my poster, I just wanted to keep them the same, just so it gave that extra professional look. As one of the main elements to our films, as well as the mystery, we had the love and also the death and many other things, but the main three were love, death, and the mystery. So I wanted to represent, throughout our film we represented our characters, and also we represented those themes using different things, such as the red of her drink. We purposely put this in as just an extra bit of mise en scene for danger of the red, and also her red dress in the scene, we put this in as well. And she also has red lips, but you didn't see that. She has red lips in this scene as well, and saying that she also has red lips in all the other scenes, and this one especially, because in this one, this is where her father is about to be killed, so the TV does actually change from a white to a red sort of fade like colour on his face. So yeah, we added this red in just to represent that the danger is on the horizon. So again, linking the images from our film back to my poster and film review, we have obviously the red of the Unconventional in the title in both, which links to the themes we have running out through our film, and also we have the tragedy heart, and also the Dark Knight Productions website in red, and these are things just to make them stand out a little bit more. And obviously, because if you need to, as an audience, if you want to find out more about the film, you can go to this website. I also wanted to keep the red theme throughout my film review as well, but this time changed the shade of red slightly, so it's not the same as the Unconventional, just so it differs a little bit, so the title still does stand out even though everything else is red. I made it sort of a bit more of a pinky red rather than a sort of a blood red, and this is still to keep the theme of danger and love, but as I've just mentioned, keep it different from the title, so the title still does stand out a bit. And also the final thing just to mention on the colour, obviously you can see in the poster and the film review image that it's very dark around the faces, like shadows and stuff, and I think I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but this links obviously to our film, because in our film we try to create a good amount of shadows and effects to have the two split sides of the personality, like the split face. So yeah, I just wanted to include that in the poster as well. So just an overview on the question, which was how effective is your combinations of your main product and your ancillary text. And like I just said, in conclusion, I think that personally my poster and review link well with my film, image wise, colour wise, and also they really go well with the themes that we try to create while making our actual film.